What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, girl.
Hey, Melissa. I am so excited. What have you been up to, Melissa?
Just, I like to say living the dream, but this nightmare this market has turned into a little bit more of a nightmare.
This market has really became a challenge over the last.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge, but still just cranking and going and, just working.
Absolutely.
Living the dream.
Well, I'm so excited that you're going to be at REI Live on October 18th. I'm so excited that you're going to share with us how you've been able to be so successful as a wholesaler. But before we even talk about any of that, I want to know, tell me about your first deal. What did your first deal look like?
Oh, girl. It was 2 shotgun houses in West End. I knew nothing, and I thought this is it. Like, we're gonna do well with that one. And honestly, I think we made about $1,500 a house. But at the time, it was first deal.
That was pretty good money.
If I had made $500, I would have been excited. But it was in West End. I knew nothing. I got into a family issue. The guy's kids lived in them. It was a challenge. It was a challenge. And then we ended up with one of his other houses. So there was 3 in the package. His daughter lived in the other one, and she was not moving. So anyway, I got to learn a lot of things right off the bat that were a little difficult, but we got them closed, and everything went well. So yeah, that just wasn't where I wanted to start. Everybody wants to start with a nice, pretty deal where you make a lot of money and there's all the
all the stuff you see on TV. You want the shiny object. I'm gonna make $30,000 on my first wholesale deal.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case.
That was not the case. I think all total between all 3 of them, we ended up with about probably $10,000. That's been 6 years ago, so I don't really remember, but about that. That was a lot of money. I mean, I still had a full-time job, so.
Especially if you have a full-time job, that was a lot of money. Absolutely. Yeah. How long did it take you to close those? How long did it take you to close one of them, the first one?
We had to wine and dine that seller for several months. So I would say it probably took us all total probably 3 or 4 months between talking to the seller many times, tweaking contracts several times, chasing him down, running out to his business, trying to get in the houses with the kids, and then finally getting them closed. So it was a process.
So what made you want to be a wholesaler? Like, why wholesaling?
Well, that's kind of a funny story. I wanted nothing to do with real estate. This was Carrie's baby. Carrie's always loved real estate, and he's always had his hands in it to some degree or another. He also had a full-time job, and he started heavily marketing, and the marketing came in. He's like, "Would you please help me?" And I'm like, "I don't want anything to do with real estate." I literally took no time to learn anything about real estate. I don't want anything to do with it. But, I love my husband, so I was like, okay,
good wife, right?
Yeah, I'll be a good wife. I'll make some calls. Girl, I got cussed and yelled at, and I remember going downstairs and like, why do you want me to call these people? They're angry. Like, I don't understand. But then once I understood the process and I got the hang of it, it was a little more palatable. And then we did those deals, and I was like, okay, all right, now I kind of understand. But I came in kicking and screaming. I wanted nothing to do with it. I went to a workshop with him in San Diego.
Okay.
And I only went because I wanted to go to San Diego. And I'm like, I'll sit there with you. It's fine. I just want to go to San Diego. And I paid no attention in the workshop, 0. And anyway, that's kind of how it all started. And I ended up, that was in July, I think, of 2017. And then February of 2018, I quit my full-time job because I had already replaced my income. And
that was so good. I was gonna ask you, how long did it take you to buy in? Do you feel like you were officially bought in by 2018, or were you still kind of on the cuffs of, I really don't want to do this, but I'm making more money than?
Well, I was still nervous about it. I mean, I had a really good corporate job. I had good benefits. I worked when I wanted to work. I had a cushy, like my boss loved me. I came to work when I wanted to. I left when I wanted to. I really couldn't ask for anything else. And he came in and told me he was retiring in December. And I was like, uh-oh, I'm going to have to work a real job. Because that real estate job was extra money, and it was good extra money. And then I met my new boss, and my new boss wanted to know, like, you get here at 8, you leave at 5, you get an hour for lunch, and we need to go over your caseload, because I was paralegal. And I came home and went, yeah, I can't function in that world. I've done what I've wanted to do for the last 7 or 8 years. And so it just kind of worked out. I left. So, and I think it was 7 or 8 months later, my goal became to get Kerry out of his full-time job, and he was out in November.
That was a good accomplishment. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
And you haven't looked back since then?
No, I haven't looked back.
Have you thought?
I can imagine having a W-2 now. Good Lord.
The freedom, I think, is probably the biggest thing about it. To be able to do what you want to do. You still have. That doesn't mean you don't have to work. A lot of times you're working. Would you say you're working twice as hard now?
I wouldn't say necessarily twice as hard. You have to work twice as smart.
Okay, from a mental standpoint, you're working twice as hard because there was things you didn't have to think about then.
Mm-hmm. But it's I can do this from anywhere, and so motivation. If I want to get up and bust a move for 2 or 3 hours during the day, then I have the rest of the day to myself.
You called me earlier this year, and you were on the beach. How long were you on the beach?
Couple of months.
What's a couple of months? 1 month, 2?
So we were there January, February, and part of March. So that was roughly about 2 months total. And then we went back in April and came home mid-June.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have several trips in between that, but I would say that's the biggest stint that we've done this year. So all total, in between the trips with those two, we've probably been there for about 5 months or so this year.
That's amazing. So, let's see. What would you say the biggest problem is when it comes to new wholesalers entering into today's market?
Well, you get a lot of wholesalers out there listening to YouTube University, and the coaches, and I have no problem with the coaches. The coaches that are heavily in Phoenix or in New York or in California, these big markets, those numbers don't work here. Alabama is very unique in its market. You can have a $2,000 house across the street from a $2 million house. It depends on where their school districts lie. And, you've got Avondale. You get over on the north side of Avondale, it's not as great. You get over on the south side of Avondale, it's good. I mean, there's just a lot of variables. Whereas if you go into Phoenix, you can sell a tree house in Phoenix. It don't really matter where it's at. That's not the case here. And so wholesalers come in, they don't know the market, and they throw out these crazy contracts thinking, well, this is a deal because they're looking at numbers from their market, and it's really not a deal. And they're locking up properties, tying up the sellers for 30 days or more. The sellers are angry when it doesn't close, and then the wholesalers that do know what they're doing, come behind them, and then they're just angry, and so I just said the biggest problem is these people are coming into the market and just not learning the market, and not only not learning this market, just not paying attention to the overall market, because we see a lot of wholesalers coming in that are still offering these ridiculous prices based on COVID numbers. COVID numbers are gone.
They're gone. Absolutely.
They're gone. Yeah.
So REI Live, October 18th. Doors open at 5:30. We're going to be at the Vulcan Parking Museum. Melissa, what are you going to teach the people at REI Live on October 18th?
Well, that wholesaling is work. It's really a simple process, but it is work. So it's not a get rich quick scheme. You have to be prepared to put the time in, but it's doable. I replace my income, replace Kerry's income. We spend 5-6 months a year at the beach. So yeah, 100% it's doable, but you just got to do it right. So, let's talk about the market and how to treat your sellers, and not just lock up everything just for the sake of put some work in.
Absolutely. Listen, Melissa is going to give you guys some actionable items so that you can get in, you can make some money, you can replace your income if that's what you want to do. If wholesaling is what you want to do, Melissa is going to literally teach you the steps to becoming a wholesaler in today's market, and not using those outdated strategies, but using some actionable items where you can really hit the ground rolling. Melissa, I'm so excited. I have seen you in person. I've seen you live, and the amount of knowledge that you have, I don't think there's anyone that can replace you. You are amazing at what you do, and I'm just so excited to see you on October 18th.
Oh, thank you. You and Antonio kill it too. So, y'all do a great job too. And I really appreciate it. And it's kind of just in my blood. I just love it. I can't imagine doing anything else.
Anything else. That's so crazy. From not wanting to do it to like, this might be my passion.
This is what I do. I don't know what else to do. So.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to see you. You guys, make sure your face is in the place. We will see you there. Peace.
Awesome. Bye, guys.